Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 25th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery here across the region. You can see the thousands of lightning strikes the system produced yesterday across the area. The low is not moving anywhere fast, but it's going to jog a little bit east today, but we're going to bring this lightning activity across the region here again this afternoon. Flash flooding potential again, as we had some pretty strong storms yesterday northeast of Spokane, and we bring that thunderstorm threat back towards the Cascades again today as well. Stronger storms, possible severe off for Montana as well. Now, taking a look at the visible satellite imagery here, you can see the forest fire smoke moving across the region. I believe that's the White River fire kicking off some of that smoke here. You can see the low clouds banked up on the Washington-Oregon coast through southwest Washington, punching down the Strait of Juan de Fuca towards Whidbey Island a little bit there. A lot of this activity should burn off during the afternoon today, as we have a very warm day west of the Cascades scheduled. You can see that upper level low spinning across the Idaho panhandle. That's what's going to kick off our thunderstorms again today. Probably another day with plenty of lightning strikes over there, with, again, severe storms possible over into Montana. Look at SeaTac yesterday, 87 degrees, 10 degrees above average, just 1 degree off the record high of 1982. The Seattle Weather Forecast Office up towards Lake Washington, also 87, exact same as SeaTac if you notice. 88 degrees was the record high, missed it by 1958. Olympia, 88, warmer than both locations, 11 degrees above average, but still not close to that record high of 1982. They might get towards 90 degrees today for Olympia. Now, looking at day one excessive rainfall outlook, you can see with the upper level low in its location here, we could get some potential for flash flooding across this region here, even back towards the Cascades. So heads up there, especially if you're in the backcountry here, northeast Washington, Idaho Panhandle, western Montana. Heads up, eyes on the sky today. Day two excessive rainfall outlook, they do not have anything for the Pacific Northwest for tomorrow. Now, looking at this, they did have a tornado threat for Montana earlier this morning. They since took that away. It's just a wind and hail threat now. But you can see that thunderstorm threat does exist back towards the Cascades of Washington and northeast Washington as well. Now, taking a look here, National Weather Forecast Office, Spokane, Washington. This is for Friday. We'll talk about this a little bit more at the end of the forecast. Also, there's gusty winds coming through the Cascades. So any fires going out there are going to get a nice breath of wind, and that can spread fires quite rapidly. You can see Spokane also talking about the Thursday thunderstorm potential all about way back towards the Cascades, again with the heavy rain, hail, gusty winds, and lightning possible. Now, taking a look here, this is the HER. Here we go, 14Z. And as we go into the future here, you can see it does pick up some of that lightning activity across the Cascades, northeast Washington, eastern British Columbia here through this afternoon before it starts to wane it as we get towards the nighttime hours here. But you can see there is that potential for some more thunderstorms around the area today, probably quite a few lightning strikes actually. Now, looking here, the UW 1.33 kilometer lightning forecast has been doing pretty well. And this afternoon showing this potential for the Cascades, northeast Washington on in through Montana. I don't think there's really much of a chance across the Olympics today, as it's showing here, though. Now, taking a look here, the NAM 3KM infrared satellite imagery here. This is the forecast. You can see some of these thunderstorms pop up across the Cascades, and you can see the stronger storms off into Montana here. And as we go on in through tomorrow, you notice that low finally kicking off and out of here. Maybe some remnant storms here across eastern British Columbia here. As you can see, we're going to be getting some onshore flow going across the region here through Friday. Now, taking a look here, Tokaj, it's no longer a typhoon here, and it's going to inject up into the westerlies here and throw a little monkey wrench into our ridge and trough position out here. But that could potentially be the driver of next week's little mini heat wave coming up here. We'll take a look at that. Now, looking here, you can see Tokaj here. Here's Japan. There's Alaska. Here's the North Pole. There's British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. You can see Hawaii and the Pacific Ocean here. There's Tokaj. You can see it enter the westerlies here, go over the top of that ridge, and then dig out into this trough here over the Gulf of Alaska. It's going to help amplify this troughing here and build that ridge over the Pacific Northwest going on into early and mid next week. Now, taking a look here, this is the European again. You can see Tokaj here off the coast of Japan come across the top of this ridge and dig out into this trough here that's going to help amplify the ridge downstream from it across Pacific Northwest. So we're looking at some warmer temperatures again next week, but we're going to cool down pretty good this weekend. As you can see, this upper level low swing through the area might even bring some precipitation across the area through this weekend as well. We'll take a look at that here coming up in a few minutes. Now, taking a look here, this is the GFS You can see the ridge, the upper level low here. So we put this into motion. Here comes that trough coming through. Good agreement with the European there. And then the trough quickly rebuilds over the Gulf of Alaska, bringing us our ridging, warming up next week. But then it looks like early into September, some of the models have quite a wet system moving through early September here. We'll take a look at what we can expect from that also coming up. So meteorological fall starts September 1st there. More about that here in a moment as well. Now, here is the European ensemble mean, upper level low, ridge, upper level low for this weekend, cooling us down, trough digs, ridge builds. You can see pretty good model agreement there, and then the potential for the system that moving through early September here as well. Now, this is the GFS mean. Let's see if it agrees with the European. It's upper level low. Here comes the trough this weekend, cooling us down. Trough digs over the Gulf of Alaska. So pretty good model agreement. As you can see, it build the ridge across the region here too. So good confidence we're going to warm up again next week. We'll check out some of those temperatures here in a moment. Actually, let's do it right now. Here's Spokane, 90 today, 88 tomorrow, then cooling down over the weekend pretty significantly. But check out the bounce back in the heat as we go through early to mid next week for Portland, then potentially cooling down with that next system on in through early September. You can see Seattle, upper 80s today, then the cool down, then the bump back up, maybe even a 90-degree day next week. Who knows? We'll keep our eyes on that with that ridging, then the system coming through possibly next week. I mean, look at that high 63. I don't think we're going to be down that far, but still, you can definitely see that cool off with that next system rolling through here. Can we expect precipitation? We'll take a look here in a moment. Seattle, Tacoma, just kind of showing the uncertainty. You can see, of course, as we get out further, there's differences between the control run in blue, the mean temperature in green, and the 90th and 10th percentile here in this box. So you can generally expect temperatures in the box, but you can see the extreme ensemble members here have some temperatures in through the 90s here on what would this be, Tuesday and Wednesday here, but generally you can probably expect an upper 80s and then a day around the lower 80s here as we go on and through Wednesday of next week. But you can see the cool down coming this weekend. It's going to be kind of nice, I think. Now look at SeaTac. You can see yesterday afternoon's run starting to pick up on some precipitation signal here going on through Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. And then look at this, a pretty wet system showing up here in the extended here, September 2nd and 3rd, as we get a pretty good rainfall amount here. Look at 92 hundredths of an inch in a 24-hour period. That's very wet here for beginning of September. Now let's take a look at that. Here we go with the European. You can see the upper level low bringing some precipitation to the region here today across the Cascades, upper terrain for British Columbia, Northeast Washington. And as we go on in through Friday, that low starts to finally kick out to the east. But look at this on Friday night and Saturday. Some precipitation with that next upper level low showing up across the Puget Sound, Willamette Valley here. We'll continue to monitor that closely tomorrow. And as we go on into the future here a bit, here's our ridging and our warm days next week. But then you can see we start to break down that ridge and we bring in a very wet system. That's what that ensemble run was showing here on in through the extended. We're still over 200 hours out, but we'll watch this frontal system move through here on the future forecast. We'll just try to pick out to see just how likely this is. But right now it's kind of interesting, a little bit of promise there. Now looking at Pendleton here, Thursday, Friday, this weekend, the cool down with the trough. This is the 060. Let's back up once. We can look out a little further. There's a trough moving through the ridge next week with some very warm temperatures possible early and mid next week. And then maybe the cool down again coming on through early September. So you guys kind of get the hint of what's coming here. Tri-Cities flirting with 100 degrees the next 2 days potentially before a cool down coming this weekend also. Now here's looking at the HER 3KM. I wanted to show the wind pattern here coming up. As you can see, we go through the day today. There are some westerlies coming through here, probably associated with some of that thunderstorm activity here through Thursday afternoon. But now watch as we go through into Friday afternoon. Look at these winds really kick up. And if there's any forest fires going or any new starts that happen across the Cascades here from those thunderstorms, or actually from human activity too, they can really get kicked up and enhanced here as these winds move through the Cascade passes. This is actually the most dangerous time for forest fire activity out there when we get these strong westerlies. Look at some of these up over 40 knots probably here across the region. This is at 80 meters, but it's a pretty good representation of what's going to be going on at the surface. And you can see that powerful westerly flow coming down the Strait of Juan de Fuca here by Friday evening as well. So nice marine push coming, nice cool down coming this weekend. But you got to watch out for fire danger, especially east slopes of the Cascades, eastern Washington when that does occur. And taking a look here, they don't have anything for day 1 or day 2 on the fire weather outlook. And I don't know if they're just not watching that, but Friday they could probably put some kind of, outlook here for eastern Washington with all this lightning activity going on around here. Hopefully no new fires have started here, but there is that potential for, critical fire danger. Now, yeah, so this upper level low, man, this is going to be the 3rd day in a row. Friday, we'll probably even have a few thunderstorms through eastern BC and Montana as well before that full low finally gets out of there. Then we bring that next upper level low, maybe a little precipitation at some point this weekend. We'll break that down a little bit further tomorrow. And as you guys saw in the extended, then we warm up again, then potentially bringing some wetter systems on through early September. Again, we're just kind of exploring that outlook in the models at this point. Nothing set in stone, of course, especially at that range, but we'll continue to watch for those systems moving in through early September as meteorological fall starts September 1st here across the region. So yeah, I'm going to go out here and probably check out some of these thunderstorms in the east slopes of the Cascades, maybe do a hike and whatnot, and go check out and try to capture some nice pictures or something. So anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys are seeing. Seattle Weather Guy on Twitter. Send me some tweets, send me some pictures, and we'll do this again tomorrow. Click like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys then.